All right. Testing. Hello, hello. All right, put your hands together for Doyle. Give it up. Come on, show some love. All right, as you are finishing up your tacos, and we're going to begin our program here. So everybody grab a beverage and get your last bites. Okay, buenas tardes, good afternoon. My name is Angel Cervantes, class of 1994, and it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to our 2023 Bienvenidos. Give it up. That was okay. But I'll try that again. 2023, Bienvenidos. Give it up. Okay. All right, ya ves, ya can always count on the 90s to come through like that. All right. Shout out to the food services for the tacos. Give them a hand, please. And the drinks. Let's not forget the drinks. When I was here, the food has improved substantially. Those of you who were here prior to now, I guess, today we had some tacos with what looked like carne asada, and there was some good wok. When I was here at Oxy in the early 90s, we had this thing called deep dish burrito pie. Anybody remember a deep dish burrito pie? It was kind of like a combination of an enchilada with a burrito with kind of like bean dip. It's kind of like what they call now bean dip, I guess. Yeah, like a bean lasagna there, something like that, right? So yes, we have come a long way. I was asked to just give some quick remarks in regards to the why of OCLAA, the kind of the past, the history. I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to give you like one sentence history, and the why of OCLAA, the how of OCLAA, the history of OCLAA is this. If you look around right now at this crowd, this is why in the mid to late 80s, OCLAA was founded, was for this purpose, to bring together our community, students, faculty, alums, staff, everybody in a space that was comfortable to us, that we saw each other and we could embrace as a larger familia. And this is the why of OCLAA. So please give yourselves a big hand for being here today. And do me a favor, tell the people who didn't come that they messed up. Because I don't know about you, but when I was a student, if they said free food, I was there, so they messed up. It is my honor to introduce one of our past OCLAA presidents. She is a current Board of Governor member right now. She is the chair of the Jose Silva Scholarship Board of Directors. She has been serving our community for a long time, and with more greatness to come. Class of 2000, Erica Nuno. Give her a hand, please.
Gracias, Angel. Buenas tardes a todos. It's so nice to see so many beautiful brown faces here today. My name is Erica Nuno. As Angel mentioned, I do have the privilege of serving as the board chair for the Jose Silva Memorial Scholarship. Who is Jose Silva, you might ask? So Jose was an alum who was very active on and off campus, advocating for Latinos throughout his career while at Oxy. He's also one of the founders of OCLAA, actually. He spent 25 years at Raytheon and was very well known for his success in his profession, but much more significantly for the work that he did in community. And so after a tragic accident in 2008, the Latino Scholarship Fund Board, which is what it was called before, decided to honor his legacy and rename the scholarship the Jose Silva Memorial Scholarship. So a little history there. So the scholarship is really alive today because of the generous support of alums and supporters who contribute to it on a regular basis. So alums, anybody who's able to do it, there's QR codes on your table, so please feel free to scan the QR codes and donate today. And while you do that, I'll tell you a little bit more. So next year, we're actually going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of the scholarship. So very, very exciting. We hope you can join us next year as we celebrate in 2024. So to date, we've raised $260,000 towards its endowment. Yeah. But we're not there yet. Our goal is $400,000. So we got a ways to go. So we will continue to fundraise. Expect to see a lot of that. We want to continue to give to students for years to come. And so who do we award? So the scholarship was founded with the intent to recognize, support, and advance emerging leaders that are supporting the Latino community. And really the awarded recipients are exceptional students who are achieving academic success while also uplifting their Latinidad on or off campus. And that's what they embody. So this year's recipient is a sophomore. But next year, we're actually going to be reverting the scholarship back to start at the freshman year, and then be able to provide renewal scholarships for each student until they graduate. So that's our intent. And so so how many past scholarship recipients do we have in the audience today? Are there any past scholarship? All right, yeah. So as we've been told by the scholars, the funds really provide them the opportunity to focus on their studies and find their passions. For many of the scholars, we find out that they are the first to graduate from college, so it's really, really a significant opportunity for them. So with that, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate and announce this year's recipient of the Jose Silva Memorial Scholarship. She is currently enrolled as a double major, although maybe not quite sure yet. She is a sophomore, maybe sociology, maybe theater, maybe something else. But everyone, please join me in congratulating Osmara Guzman Morales.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Well, I think obviously first I really want to express my gratitude for it, especially in the past couple of years of given our climate of just our ever-changing society, that I feel not many of us express gratitude enough. And I feel that being grateful for every little opportunity, every little thing, being able to wake up is something that we don't appreciate enough. So getting something so monumental, so impactful, truly. I'm not gonna cry. My voice is just very shaky. I'm just naturally very cold. My apologies. That I'm just very grateful for it. And to quote something that I definitely wrote on my scholarship, but also to quote Nicki Minaj, not so simultaneously, is, no, I'm not lucky, I'm blessed. And I very much feel that is a philosophy that I live with, because I've been told all my life, from going to boarding school to even receiving things like this, oh, you're such a lucky young person. And I don't believe I'm lucky. I believe that I am blessed, because I feel that all of this is an example of all the hard work that I've done. And I truly believe that goes to every single BIPOC student, every single Latinx student who lives here, that we are not lucky. This is completely the fruition of our hard work and all the dedication, all the sacrifices, not only the generations before that we've made, but specifically what we have done. And I feel that's the philosophy I truly believe in, that we are not lucky, but we are blessed individuals because of the hard work that we have done, and that we should reap the rewards that we get, that we should celebrate ourselves every single moment that we get, because if it's not going to be us, who else is going to do it? And yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So amazing. So now we're actually in a very exciting time for Latino representation at Oxy. We currently have 3 Latina trustees, which is pretty monumental for us. In addition to seeing all these beautiful brown faces here today, like that was not around, I think, to echo what Angel said, when I was around as well. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to the forever advocate and biggest supporter of OCLAA, the Silva Scholarship, and everything Latino on and off campus. He is a trustee, class of '89, and has accolades that will take too long to mention right now. So I will, but Google him. My amigo, Héctor de la Torre.
Thank you, Erica. I have a letter from Harry for today. He couldn't make it, but as a trustee, and I'm going to introduce a couple of other trustees in a second, I think it's important to acknowledge Harry's engagement and support of everything that we're doing at OCLAA and for the Latino students. I'm very sorry that I will be in New York and will miss your beginning of the year event, the Bienvenidos event. I will do everything to be at the next event, either later in the semester or in the spring. Please know that I care deeply about the issues of access and equity that OCLAA promotes and champions. Partnership with OCLAA has been extremely important to me in my time as president. With the recent Supreme Court decision on race-conscious admissions, we need to be all the more diligent in our promoting diversity. Thank you to OCLAA for contacting every Latin admit this past year. It made a difference, and our number of Latin students went up over the previous year, which is, yes, that's something to celebrate. While the Supreme Court's decision directly impacts admissions and financial aid, certain targeted recruiting efforts will still be possible. Therefore, we must work together to find ways within the law that we can communicate the message of Oxy so that we can attract more students and maintain our commitment to diversity and inclusion. One of the first meetings I had with affinity groups after my arrival at Occidental was with OCLAA. I know that because I set it up, so it happened. From that very moment, you welcomed me and embraced me and offered to assist in developing the equity and justice agenda on campus. We have done well in tackling many of the items on the agenda, but still have much to do. I have greatly enjoyed working with OCLAA and have appreciated your commitment to the college and to Latin students. I look forward to continuing our collaboration this year. Again, my apologies for not being able to attend today. So that's from Harry. I want to start by talking to the alums first. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Today is the first annual, we've got all these other things going on. Today is the first annual combination Bienvenidos and fundraiser for the Silva Scholarship. We've never tried that before. We want to have an annual event where the alumni can get together with students, but also to fundraise for Silva in person. There's still the virtual one in the spring, but today is our first annual fundraiser for the scholarship, hence this. So I know of some alums who don't live in LA who couldn't be here today. I hit them all up for money today. Just because they can't be here doesn't mean they can't support this. doesn't mean it can't support students who are doing these wonderful things. And we were all there. I mean, look deep in your heart. Remember what it was like to be young, like these wonderful students, and the struggles we had to go through. And so this is your chance, wherever you are in life, to support them. And so that's my big ask, is please, 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 on your behalf, and reach out to others, have them contribute whatever they can, because it all adds up, and it adds up to this wonderful experience that our students are having, and more students can have if we do this right. So that's my pitch. I also want to bring up my colleagues. As Erica said, there's 3 of us on the board. I'm going to start with Magdalena Arenas, Dr. Magdalena Arenas, who is a phenomenal physician just right here in Pasadena. Great board member, always thinking about what I just described, that initial, the first person in your family. She has a wonderful personal story, you can look it up, but that we have all been where you are, students. We've lived, we may not look like it now because we're old and whatnot, but we lived exactly what you're living. And I think that's the most important thing you can know about this supportive alumni group, is that we were you, and we want to help you get to hopefully where we've been. So, Magdalena Arenas. La doctora. She was even giving us medical advice while we were having lunch.
Thank you.
But we're not all as tall as Hector. So buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos. Good evening, good afternoon. ¿Son tardes o what is it? Tardes? Yeah, buenas tardes a todos. So it's a real pleasure to be able to be here and to come back to Sycamore Glen. It was a favorite place for me to just come and find some peace. So this is a very sacred ground. I want you to know that for many students. And the paths lead here. So use this place, please, to reflect on you. But I'm going to take advantage of this moment, actually, for you to do something. I'm a pulmonary critical care doctor at Huntington Memorial Hospital, and I work for Optum Medical Group as a medical director for inpatient services and post-acute. So I would be remiss to not ask you all to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And I want you to let it out real slow. And as you're doing that, I want you to remember who it was that brought you here, what it was that brought you here. If you can imagine that person or that comment or that dream or that moment that brought you to an understanding that there was more for you in this life, in this world, from your current situation to the situation where you could see yourself. I want you to imagine that. If it was your abuelo, your abuela, your madrina, your neighbor, your high school counselor, your English teacher, who perhaps didn't look like you, but believed in you. Oxy is fertile ground. I am living proof. I left my home with the clothes on my back and a lamp that I built in wood shop, because I wouldn't take home ec. I didn't want to take home ec. I took wood shop. And I brought that with me. That was all I brought with me to Oxy. So like many immigrants, my story of immigration not just happened with my parents coming across the border with 7 children and having 4 more here. I was one of those 4. But of really just coming and with that story of immigration, of being a migrant, of going from one place to another for a brighter future. That's what Oxy was for me. That's why I keep coming back every opportunity I can. And that's why that person that you've imagined, that moment that you've thought of, whatever it was that prompted you to seek an opportunity, a greater opportunity, that's what Oxy can be and is for you. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't reference my Oxy experience. It drives my kids a little crazy, to be honest with you. But I've been in practice in medicine for 23 years, and every time I say I went to Occidental College, people's faces light up.
anybody knows Occidental College. So with that, I just want to let you all know you've begun an amazing journey. As students, you've begun an amazing journey. For my fellow alums, I'm sure you all have your amazing stories that you take with you. And every day that you live, you realize, hopefully, that you are you because of the people that you met and the places that you went. And part of that was begun here at Oxy. Thank you so much for your time and your attention.
Es que soy de los Altos de Jalisco. Thank you, Magdalena. Our other trustee is a good friend. I've known him since I was on this campus. Same year, a great personal friend, and I'm really proud to call him a trustee. He's just started. He just got sworn in last week, 2 weeks ago. Enrique Lopez is a badass psychologist. He was head of psychology at Cedars-Sinai. He's now a professor in graduate program for psychology and a wonderful, wonderful friend. Enrique Lopez.
I'm even a little smaller. Buenas tardes. And I want to begin with, like the other trustees, we're first generation. But I also feel like I'm also a first generation trustee. None of my family has ever been a trustee. It's a little foreign, but I also feel like I also belong and I want to stand and take that position also. But also how similar I am to all of you. And also, each of us is also unique too. My father moved here to the United States, so I didn't meet really my father till I was 6 years old, because my father would go back to Mexico. I would see him a little bit, a few times, a few weeks. He was almost like a Santa Claus, because he would go down maybe in the holidays to visit, and that's how I knew him. But it wasn't until I was 6 that I was brought up here to the United States. And then my family decided to go back to Mexico. And at 16, I actually stayed here and decided to stay here. In some ways, I was kind of homeless, but I wanted to stay here in the United States to go to college. I was able to stay with an aunt, but in some ways, Oxy was a home for me, and it protected me in terms of, I also identify as a gay individual in the 80s when the HIV epidemic was rapid, so I was at risk at that time, but I also felt like Occidental protected me at the time. Not that it was always great at Occidental College. There's times when I didn't feel like I belonged. There's a couple of times when I wanted to drop out, but I also had some advisors who actually helped me stay here. Like one of them would be Jacqueline Rodriguez. She was also, it was almost like my surrogate mother. And whenever I wanted to drop, she would actually scold me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I better listen to her. But I wanted to let you know that we all have similar stories, but also unique stories. But I want you all to belong, and then also in the future become trustees also. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Enrique. As you can see, all three of us, children of immigrants, all three of us working class or poorer, and here we are on the board of one of the elite colleges in America. It's a really amazing thing, and we are all incredibly grateful to be able to pay it forward with our service and with our contributions. Next up is our current president of OCLAA, Andrea. Come on up here. Andrea has been for quite a while just busting her butt for OCLAA, for you, for this organization. So thank you.
Thank you, Hector. Oh, that's okay. Hopefully it'll be right here now for a while. I thank you all so much. And I promise you there's not so much more of the program, but as the OCLAA president, I'm just really excited to share more about some of the projects we do have going on. But before I do that, because we just introduced the trustees, and I'll hand it to them later, for all of our trustees, we actually have a little gift for you all. We have an OCLAA mug, this fancy, we all want mugs as alumni. This is like the thing now. But I really just want to honor you and thank you for your commitment to our community. So thank you. We will be giving you those here in a little bit. But I
just want to share a little bit about my story too, and as it relates to this really amazing project that we have this year, one of the first in its history. So of course I want to thank you all for being here. Again, my name is Andrea Cova Bernal. I'm super honored to be the president, along with my team here, I'll introduce in a little bit, to help share your stories. That's what we're here for. It really has been my passion to uplift other people's stories in my work and in my career, but OCSI is where it all started. Right? Many years of teaching and counseling. I am a college counselor and I work for a program called College Match. Some of our students are here. 2 podcasts, 1 business, and hundreds of personal statement edits later, I'm so glad to finally find this kind of full circle moment of uplifting stories through oral history projects. Professor Puerto, you have also been there from the start. And Professor Bolianets back there, it's been so wonderful getting to know both of you who are collaborative partners on this project. As Latinos, many of us really carry heavy narratives on our back, whether that carries trauma, generational poverty, status, or even intersectional identities like myself. So when I was a student at OCSI, I don't know if anybody can relate, I do remember feeling, maybe like Enrique was talking about, I feel like I always had to defend my identity sometimes here. I'm a Venezuelan American raised in New Mexico who often gets mistaken for Indian or ambiguous, they used to call me, and who didn't grow up in a Spanish speaking home. So maybe if you're from New Mexico, you might relate, my 505ers, right? For some reason, I always felt like I had to defend my Latinidad, who I was and where I stand in this space. But thanks to professors like Mary Christianakis, Jacqueline Rodriguez, who was mentioned earlier, Professor Puerto, and more, I honestly just learned how to just be myself. And that's the most that I can be. I learned that my stories and my experiences and this version of who I am matters, no matter where I am. So when Professor Puerto approached me about this oral history project, I had to say yes. Even though I promised myself and my husband, who's here in the office, in the audience today, that I would take a break from OCSI because I love to volunteer here, I truly couldn't pass up the opportunity to work with one of the professors who changed my life and inspired my positive experience of uplifting voices. So this year, I chose to say yes for all of you, but mostly to help uplift yours and leave a legacy for many, many more generations to come. So before my first little one comes, I'm so excited that this big effort has happened on the OCLAA board. Students, if you're seniors, are there any seniors in the room today? Congratulations, you're almost there. This is an opportunity for you to think about next year, but mostly fellow alumni, it is now your turn. Our OCLAA board and these professors are hoping that this project will lay a foundation for many more stories to come. So I don't know what your story will say later, but what I do know is that you're writing it now for somebody that will follow your footsteps. So like me and many of my other alumni, and what Angel, who in the back there, said, right, this is why OCLAA exists. This is what connects us. So on your tables today, if this resonates for you and you are an alumni of OCSI, and you've been inspired in any way, shape, or form, then fellow alumni, please sign up for our oral history project. We're here to share your story. We're looking for 24 alumni narrators to not only share your OCSI experience, but we also want to embed 2 of the most important links to the Latino community. You guys can guess: food, okay, and language. So not only is it going to be about your story, but it's about uplifting those 2 connectors in our culture. So honestly, I couldn't do this project justice if I did not introduce our collaborative partners now. So I'd like to bring up Professor Puerto and Professor Bolianets just to share a little bit more about how we're going to work together this year. And alumni, please do. I encourage you to go ahead and sign up as well.
Hi everyone, we are so honored to be here with you. Whoops, I'm probably the shortest of them all. We are so honored to be here with all of you today. Many thanks to Andrea for the invitation to join you. Many thanks to the OCLAA board for supporting this oral history project. We really wouldn't have gotten to this point without Andrea's vision, her persistence, her patience. And I also want to Thank all of the alum in attendance, the 3 trustees, and Angel, who is the longest time supporter, right, of the vision that we have for this project, for serving as role models for MSI students, alum of 2023 summer. We have big representation here. They're here with their professors, Professor Mora, Professor Christianakis, our YAS majors and minors who are here, our Obama scholar, Yenny Gonzalez Salinas. Thank you, alum, for serving as role models for all of our brilliant students. And I also just want to congratulate Osmara on your Jose Silva Scholarship. It is indeed true that you are not lucky. You are indeed blessed, but you also earned it. Remember that. And all the students here, that is a lesson taught to my mentors, so I'm just paying it forward. You're not lucky, you earned it. So let's talk about this project. This semester, my dear colleague, I'm also so proud to be standing next to her. This semester we are teaching 2 courses that are part of the Humanities for Just Communities curriculum. Humanities for Just Communities is a 3-year collaborative, curricular, and community engaged program supported by the Mellon Foundation that introduces incoming and first-year students to the problem-solving power of the humanities to advance social justice. The program's courses, cohort experiences, and summer research opportunities all feature high-impact practices and center public-facing social justice projects. Each year, the program has an annual theme, and this academic year, the theme is migration, displacement, and cultural resilience. Precisely because of this annual theme is why I reached out to Andrea. We both saw the opportunity that lay ahead of us.
So thanks very much to the Mellon Foundation funding for our 2 courses, and thanks to this funding, we're able to launch this oral history project, a storytelling and historical documentation effort featuring you, Oxy alum. The project seeks to document the lived experience of Oxy's Latinx, how do you even say that in Espanol? O sea, Latinx. Alumni with a focus on their time as students at Oxy and stories about how food or language, the 2 topics of our respective courses, have shaped your identities and experiences. My course, Linguistic Resilience in Los Angeles, in this course students are going to collect oral histories that preserve the language-related stories of Occidental's alumni, including how language is interwoven with identity, how it affects relationships with family and community members, and the myriad challenges faced by Spanish speakers in a predominantly monolingual country that does not place a high value on non-English languages or the people that speak them. So, most importantly, it will focus on the resilience of Latino folks in the face of these challenges. I'm hoping that my students have the opportunity to hear about OCLAA members' multilingual traditions, language brokering, academic and professional success, and connections between language and cultural and individual identity.
My course is titled Eating Culture, Food, Race, and Migration, and students will be collecting oral histories focused on how Latinx alumni have negotiated identity, heritage, assimilation, and resistance through food. Food stories will focus on a broad range of topics, including family recipes and traditions, to food and ritual practices, the role of food in ritual practices or special events, and food labor, from stories about labor in the kitchen at home, to work in restaurants, the fields, markets, corporate offices, to stories about favorite food places or vendors. The oral histories themselves will be conducted by our students, some of whom are here, hello, who are receiving extensive training in oral history methodology and best practices for community-based learning and research. The interviews will be conducted on Zoom and recorded. The recordings, along with transcriptions and summaries, will be preserved in the college archives. We will also share the recordings, of course, with individual narrators and with OCLAA. So the oral history project has 3 key objectives. The first is